Alrighty.
All right, we'll start off with this. Actually, it's not even football related, but I want you to visualize something for me. Okay. You're in the car. All right. Maybe you've been stressed. Maybe you just are in your feels, or maybe you just need to let out some emotion, happiness. So you want to put on a song, but you might not put that song on around anybody else.
Oh man. Come on.
Hey, so okay, I'll start here. So when we had Dano on yesterday, we got brought up. The Backstreet Boys was talking about bringing boy bands back. Yeah, Dan's the one that brought that up. You know, and I like the angsty pop from when I was in the 2000s. Because Louis, I am still young. I don't know how you.
I don't know. You know what? I'm sitting here. I'm listening to you, but I'm sitting there running through my head. Like I like so many different types of music. Let's just put it this way: if I wanted to like let out some emotion or like kind of go back to a place that would,
or you sing your heart out,
that makes you like that brings back great memories. I'm a big 80s music guy.
Okay.
Because that's when I grew up. I graduated high school in 86, 87. Some kind of 80s music. I would go, let's just put it this way. I'll put on the 80s channel on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
You roll the windows up,
and you know what? Because that would remind me of like high school football.
Yeah.
Going to like the prom with my girlfriend, who's my wife now. Those are good times, man.
That is good.
That's probably the thing. And that's honestly, that is what I do. Whenever I'm alone in the car, I blast 80s on 8 a lot. That's good stuff for me.
Yeah, you just turn it on up, turn the dial up.
There we go.
How's your week been so far?
You know, I got here yesterday. I always love this week simply because, look, over the past 6-7 years, we've been able to, the doubleheader crew for Monday Night Football has always gotten the assignment of calling this game for ESPN International.
Yeah.
And I sit there and I think sometimes, you know, even though it's not the main broadcast, it's still, we're broadcasting the damn Super Bowl.
Yep.
To for millions of people. And this year, I mean, Dan Orlovsky and Chris Fowler and myself are doing it. And we've done it now for the past 3-4 years. When I start thinking about it, like as the game approaches, like I'm not big into the parties and stuff anymore. I used to be. When I was younger, we used to come to this game. That's, you know, it was a lot about that. For me now, it's about, this is such a big game. This is the biggest one-day sporting event that there is. And being able to call it, that's pretty cool, man. Like it's not like that. That's bucket list type stuff. It's the Super Bowl. So I look forward to the game.
Yeah. Well, you've had really an unbelievable rounded career.
Yeah.
You know,
to say the least.
Well, I think that's kind of the full circle for you now that the positions you were in to now going from player personnel to media to then calling the biggest game.
It has been an interesting ride for me, going all the way back, like really starting in high school, to be quite honest with you, right? So I have a son right now who, I mean, look, and you understand how this goes. I mean, being who your father is, I mean, you understand how, like, from a young age, I always knew that I wanted to be involved with the biggest and best stuff. Because my brother played football for the Bills for 10 years.
Yeah.
And he was 12 years older than me. So I was really young when I got to go up to Buffalo and hang around all the old Buffalo Bills and stuff. And then I had a cousin who was a Green Bay Packer, drafted in the first round. So I've always been around professional sports.
Yeah.
And so that's always been my dream, to be able to get a chance to then play it, get out of it, work for 11 years in the front office, interview for GM jobs. Hasn't quite gone the way I wanted it to. Get out of that, get into the media, call the Super Bowl, call college football playoff games, be on Monday Night Football, do the draft, do stuff. It's been, I've kind of like touched a little bit of everything.
You have.
And it's, I'm actually getting to that point where, you know, I have a son who's now entering high school, who's a really, really, really good basketball player. And I'm thinking, how much longer am I going to do this because then I just want to follow him around and watch him play.
Yeah.
So it's closer to the end than it is to the beginning, but I love this side of I love media.
Yeah.
I really do, because it fits my personality.
Yeah.
I have a very opinionated personality, but not abrasively. Like, you know what I mean? I don't try to, you know how sometimes how this business gets. It becomes like where like people just start filling in gaps and stuff and just start like speculating about stuff. And like, I'm not with that crap, but I am opinionated. I work hard at it. And it's just made for me. I think that I'm at home doing this now. You know,
well, that's why. I mean, you're one of my favorite to listen to.
Well,
that's not just blowing smoke on that. Because I think you're so objective.
Yeah.
But you articulate your points.
Yeah.
And again, you're very your thought process. I follow it. I go, okay. I wish I could explain how you did it the way that you do it.
Yeah.
And that's why it was a couple of the topics I want to ask you about here.
Sure.
So like one of them is a couple parts here, but I think it's very interesting. The Harbaugh situation of leaving was one, which I know the connections there. Harbs has been a big focal point in Baltimore.
Sure.
I knew him growing up. That's really all I knew from my childhood.
Yep.
And a lot of people said, we had Brian Billick on yesterday, and Billick said, things run its course and it's time.
Yeah.
But it feels like this, it's a breakup, but this was a breakup for everyone. It's going to work out, it seems like, for both parties.
Sure.
So just maybe your thoughts on Harbs and the impact maybe that people might not know about him as well. Yeah,
it's a multi-layered discussion topic for me, right? Because I've known John since 1987. His dad, Jack, was on the coaching staff at the University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And John was a young coach then. And I have followed him throughout his career. Then when he coached for Andy at Philadelphia, how Andy kind of brought him along as a coach, gave him more responsibility so he could become a head coach potentially. Met with him multiple times since we've done multiple Baltimore Raven games. I understand what his core values are as far as football is concerned, how he tries to lead a coaching staff, lead a football team, lead an organization. I don't want to say biased. I just come at it from a place of having some inside knowledge as to kind of how he is and how he likes to do things. And I kind of jive with that. I'm attracted to that. I respect how he does things. I also know that it ain't easy being a head coach, okay? It's not easy being a head coach of a football team that is pretty damn good, has some very dynamic players, has some very, let's just say, challenging aspects to managing that football team, managing those players, where it looks great from the outside all the time. Like, hey, man, you got the best football team. You should be winning at the highest level. There's not always a direct one-to-one correlation. There's a lot of minefields that you have to navigate and a lot of things you have to contend with that on the outside, people go, well, look, he just couldn't get the job done. We need to get someone else in there. It's like, oh, hold on. It's not just about him getting the job done.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer, and I don't say this because I was friends with John Harbaugh or because I'm not detached from my time as a player that I have forgotten. Jackie Sherrill, the great University of Pittsburgh coach at Texas A&M, he used to put out a recruiting book at Pittsburgh, and in the front of it, as soon as you opened it up, it said, coaches don't win football games, players do. It's still a players' league in the NFL. It's still a league that's dominated by the best players on your football team. The best players have to be the most available, be the best example setters, have to be rock-solid pillars of the organization. Mm-hmm. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of responsibility for Baltimore's failings recently that falls on John's shoulders, but a lot of it falls on the players in that locker room. And I am one where, look, ultimately, it's a lot easier to fire a coach than it is to fire 10, 5, 2, 3 players. You can't do that in the NFL. I think John's going to be great in New York. I hope I love Jesse Minton. He's a stud.
We do too.
Okay? He's a stud, and you guys know how Jesse was, okay? He has to have that relationship with Lamar and with all the key components of that football team that John had at one time and took them to the heights that they took to. Hopefully he can break through with them. But it's not just going to be on Jesse. The people in the locker room in Baltimore, they have to own up. And they have to carry their own weight, carry their weight. And they have to accept the responsibility, too, for what hasn't gotten done down there. Just like John accepted responsibility to the point of losing his job over it.
I think that's a good way to put it. It's always how I describe it. Coaches try to put you in a good position. And if they don't do that well enough, that can hinder your team.
Sure.
But the players going out there to be available, they're the ones that got to go and make the plays consistently.
Look, Ryan,
So going with that, because I got to get you out here in a second, because I know you have to go, but I want your answer on this real quickly then. You talk about quarterback development, and one of the things that kind of overlapped, and maybe because of the Super Bowl here, Darnold's in after being casted away by everyone.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield in that draft class, casted away by the Browns, the Panthers. He found a spot. Even though Lamar and Josh Allen clearly are two of the most talented quarterbacks, the development from Harbaugh, I think, is the infrastructure that the Ravens had allowed for the development. So could you just talk about that real quickly, and I got to get you out of here.
Oh, well, sure. Look, and I think John was always let me just put it this way. Everything John did in that organization was tailored towards trying to make sure he could extract maximum value out of Lamar and get Lamar to play at a level that really resulted in him winning 2 MVPs. He changed coaches when he needed to. Look, he moved on. He moved on from Greg. He brought Todd in. He took T. Martin and moved him from wide receiver coach to quarterback coach to kind of continue to foster that relationship with Lamar, kind of have him to put him in the best possible position to succeed. I think he did everything he possibly could to get Lamar to play at the highest level. And quite honestly, what was it, 2 years ago? Lamar had the greatest season that he's ever had under Todd Monken, with T. Martin, with the people he had around him, offensive line, running back room, wide receivers. He had the greatest season that he could possibly really have. So clearly he had a plan. He executed the plan. I think he got about as much out of Lamar as he possibly could. Yeah. So I give him A+ for all the things he did in that regard. You can't look, there's certain things that as a coach, it's out of your hands then after that, right? You got to be able to catch the football. Can't fumble the football away. Of course, there's always those coaching decisions, whether it come to blown fourth quarter leads, bad play calls on the defensive side. You know, I know people want to like bang on Zach Orr and maybe some of the things that happened with him. There's a whole lot of personnel issues on that side of the football too. But yeah, quarterback development is huge. It's the number one thing that every single organization is trying to really nail. I think John did as good a job as you could possibly ask him to do.
Well, I hope to see. It's cool seeing Darnold, and I think it just reminds people you got to be in the good spots. Not that people lack the talent. It's
that'd be a whole nother. Well,
so I got to have you on for a different time then.
Yeah,
Louis.
no doubt.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.